What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Preach Culture podcast. We're super excited to be here today. We're on the second pillar of the 7 pillars of Firehouse culture, which is brotherhood. That is my personal favorite. I think it's very important when we talk about building a culture in the Firehouse. Today, basically, what we're gonna hit on is what brotherhood is, what it means in the fire service, how we teach it, how we build it, and why brotherhood is worth protecting when we're talking about culture in today's fire service.
Yep, absolutely. Glad you guys are back with us. So I'm going to get started off here. Definition for brotherhood for me comes the commitment to put the success, safety, and growth of the crew ahead of yourself.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different than what the Brotherhood would be if you just Googled it and got it on dictionary.com.
Mhm.
That's a little more tailored towards the fire service.
Yeah.
I think that's a great definition. Mine isn't too far from it. I put that brotherhood is not simply friendship. It's the daily decision to serve, protect, challenge, and develop the people beside you, even when it's uncomfortable. There's a big word.
Big word.
We hit on being uncomfortable on every single episode of these podcasts so far.
And so just a little background with brotherhood for me is I think this is probably one of the most important pieces of culture that we have because it's very, very hard to define. It's very, very dynamic. There's a lot of pieces that go into this. And what we're seeing a lot of times, if we can bring anything back, is it shows your integrity. It shows the kind of person that you
Yep.
are on how and what you do for this brotherhood concept that we're talking about.
Yeah.
So
It's like after you do the mirror test and you have the self reflection,
mhm.
you look at your accountability, you look at your ownership. I think this is like the first puzzle piece as far as putting together a total culture for your department. We've
Yeah.
looked inward, we've solved our problems, we got our head straight.
Mhm.
Now we can focus on the immediate people around us in the firehouse, build that brotherhood, and then we can go on to the next steps of building culture in the entire fire service.
Yeah, for sure.
That is very important to me. All right. Why do you think, first of all, I'll start with this.
Yep.
Why do you think brotherhood is disappearing in modern day fire service?
I mean, there's definitely there's a lot of factors where that can play a part in this. The brotherhood concept kind of it kind of leads the same as what we're saying why the culture is disappearing. It's that thought that our crews aren't staying together as much.
Yeah.
So you don't have that accountability with each other. The mindset starts leaking in that this is just a job. This isn't what we want it to be
Yeah.
as much. There's a lot of lies that people tell themselves that I think also allow them to justify their reasonings.
Yeah.
And then it makes this brotherhood part fall apart, or they get a different concept of what it's actually
Yeah.
meant to be.
And in some situations, it might not even be being built.
Yeah.
You get a brand new rookie and put them around 4 or 5 salty old guys that are a year away from retirement that had terrible officers coming through and they're disgruntled. They hate everything about the job. That new guy may go 3 or 4 years and not even understand what brotherhood is in the fire service.
Yeah.
So then when he's got his next probie underneath him, he doesn't even know where to start teaching them about what brotherhood is and how meaningful it is in the fire service.
Yeah, a lot of that, that can be generational issues of if it's never been shown to me, then I was told there's brotherhood. I assume this is just what it is. There's ignorance at that point in time is the only excuse you can have. It doesn't mean it's a good excuse, but if that's all they've been taught, it's all they've been taught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were hitting on some points before we turned the mics and the cameras on. And I think one of the better things that was said is not everybody came from a sports background, a military background, a police background. We have people that this is the first job they ever worked, or they worked at a grocery store or a shoe store. You don't have camaraderie, you don't have brotherhood, you don't have a sense of a team in jobs like that. So this is like you were saying, they may think, oh, this is what brotherhood is, I guess, because nobody's taught me any different.
Yeah, team development's hard to do. And what I see what happens more than not is when someone doesn't have a team concept as a predisposition before they come into the fire department, we get frustrated that they don't already have that. And instead of instead of instilling that or teaching that, it becomes a burden on us.
And we just get frustrated and irritated with it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's a big thing. I mean, later in the series, we're going to talk about legacy. And I know, at least for me personally, when I leave the fire service, I want people to remember me because I created a brotherhood, because I stood by the brotherhood, because I helped people out when they needed it. I passed along my knowledge, my traits, the good and the bad. I let people learn from my mistakes. And that all ties into brotherhood. Is brotherhood something you find or something that you create?
If you're lucky, you can find it,
Okay.
uh, but it's everybody's responsibility to create it since I feel like it's an expectation.
It should be an expectation.
It's an expectation when you come through recruit class and they preach on it and they say that, the brotherhood is one of the best things about this job.
Yeah.
But a lot of people come in, they expect it, and then they don't really do anything outside of that. It's kind of assumed.
Assumed, yeah. This is
Yeah.
how it's gonna be. I don't need to do anything.
Yeah.
And we've said this a million times when it comes to culture. Give more than you take.
Yeah.
So even if you're the fireman sitting there like my culture is great, my brotherhood is great, have a time of reflection and be like, am I contributing or am I just kind of sitting there and soaking and bathing in it and enjoying it?
Yeah.
Which there's nothing wrong with enjoying it, but we
Mhm.
have to contribute to keep the brotherhood going and teach it to these younger generations. If we
Absolutely.
don't, we're doing them a disservice.
Yeah, we're leeching off of it. And we're getting all the benefits without doing anything for it. I'm
Okay.
going to enjoy a little bit of this. I know you can't today, unfortunately, going with the Red Bull.
I've got the Red Bull.
I told the fans on social media that I would pop something new. This is what it is,
How
but
about that?
I'm pretty excited about it.
So we've also been we've got 5 or 6 questions saved up. I've got them written down that some of our followers have asked. And here in the next 2 weeks, me and Gene are going to get together on a Friday night or a Saturday night and pour a couple glasses of bourbon. And we're going to answer all these questions for you guys, whether it be on Instagram Live or we can record it and post it on Instagram
Yeah.
and just kind of get feedback from you guys, answer all the questions you've been asking us to the best of our ability. And hopefully you guys can teach us something the same way we're trying to.
I mean, that's a good question. I guess it leans towards those tendencies. You could say that there's a firefighter that stands out in your head that's a negative.
Yeah.
I think you probably have one that's a negative and a positive.
Yeah.
As long as you've really you've had that ability in your career to have those influencers in your life.
Different types of crews and
Yeah.
peoples.
Yeah. But they do stick around a lot of times because those are the people that you inspire to be.
Yeah.
It's almost like heroes in our thoughts.
Yeah.
Like you grow up, you figure out what kind of person you want to be, and then you're emulating that, and you see that in your career path, and you say, that's the influence that I want. That's how I want to be.
That does make a lot of sense. I think mine for me was like the crew that always sticks in my head was the crew that like culture first clicked.
Hmm.
Like I was like, this is what they were talking about in recruit class. This is the brotherhood. This is the way it should be done.
Yeah.
And I think I'll always remember it because I mean, we didn't have the culture, then we had the culture.
Mhm.
So it's like it's something we had to build. And when it finally clicked and that brotherhood was there, I'm like, wow, this is how it's supposed to feel.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I remember it because it's the first time I felt that in the fire service.
Yeah.
And it's something I just want to recreate every opportunity I get. All right, one more question for you.
Okay.
If you could pin it down to one person, who taught you most what brotherhood looked like?
Well, that's a good question. Early on there were some guys in my recruit class that they kind of showed and led by the example of this is how the brotherhood, what they defined it as, where it was going that extra mile for people, regardless of what they've done for you or regardless of what's going to be given in return. I don't think I have anyone specific to name that amplified that the most, but that was definitely when I was first exposed to it. And I had a sports background, I knew team plays and work together for, ultimate goals. But that was when I first got exposed to this is what the brotherhood's about. This is, do this because if you ever need it in the future, it's going to be there for you.
Yeah.
But again, the first thing was you need to pour into it.
You absolutely have to pour into it.
Yeah, it's kind of anything. I mean, you can talk about retirements or anything else is you gotta put into something to get it. And hopefully you never need it until later in your career
Yeah.
or later on. But the point is if it happens, then you've got people to support you.
Yeah.
So the brotherhood's all about the support,
And it's whether it's at work, outside of work, whether it's family stuff, whether it's stuff with your crew, with the chiefs. If we have a tight brotherhood, we can have each other's back through thick and thin. And we can make this way easier than it. We talked about this yesterday. Like at the same time with brotherhood, we're our own worst enemies.
Mhm.
We hear one bad thing that somebody might have done and we just pounce on it and run with it. Instead of taking a step back and wondering, is it true? How true is it? Have we heard it directly from this person?
Yeah.
We're so quick to just throw them down.
Yeah. Rumor mills get created or we start making assumptions about people based on the reputation.
Yeah,
Reputation is a big thing because we lean in towards our egos. So once we lean into our egos, then we're going to look at other people's egos and judge them based on that. And the problem with all of that stuff is that becomes, instead of brotherhood, you start becoming cliques.
yeah.
You're now, is that person good enough to be
Oh,
in
yeah.
the
Are they
brotherhood?
funny enough? Do they fit into what we like to do outside of work?
And who are we to be the person to make that judgment
We're
call?
not at
No,
all.
we're not. We're not. But we tend to make those decisions because we tend to think we're good enough at guessing people like making the assumption of what somebody's intentions
Intentions.
are.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it becomes a problem
yeah.
more than it helps.
We heard this from a chief yesterday. You go around and tell 99 people that I'm an ass
Hmm.
because you heard that that's who I am.
Yeah.
And the first time you meet me, you're like, oh, this guy's awesome.
Yeah.
You're not going to go back and tell those 99 people, hey, I was wrong. He's
Hmm.
actually pretty cool.
Hmm.
So out of those 99, take half of them. So you got 48, 49 of them are going to truly believe that I'm this bad guy. And you were the one that said it. You actually like me now.
Yeah.
But we misinterpreted, and now 40, 50 people just don't like an individual based on what they heard.
Yes.
So we definitely
Reputation.
we definitely need to have more empathy is not really the word, but it can be when
Yeah.
it comes to people making mistakes.
Yeah.
But we need to find out for our own. Every time we meet somebody new, it needs to be a blank slate.
Yeah,
We
those
need to form our own opinion.
reputations. We always talk about a reputation will be in the room before you enter.
Yeah.
And it's true. And maybe that's part of it that needs to, the reputation can enter, but instead of us making a judgment call based on that reputation, we need to make a judgment call first and foremost with that person
Yeah.
individually.
What we see, what we
What we
feel.
yes.
Yeah.
Because the person that gave us that information could have biases where they just don't
Yeah.
like the person for whatever reason it may be, and they can lead that information whichever way they want
Yeah.
to. And that's not fair to them,
Yeah.
you know?
And people do make mistakes. Like you can earn your reputation and 2 years down the road be like, man, like I really was acting like that.
Yeah.
I want to change the way I'm acting. And
Mhm.
we should be able to give those guys a chance and give them a chance to be back in the brotherhood
Mhm.
and a part of the circle. We can't just shun them and shame them for life because they made a couple of mistakes. I know I have. I made mistakes.
Yeah.
People let me right back in. So we deserve, or we owe that to the rest of the people in the fire
Mhm.
service.
Yeah, for sure.
So I've got written down here a little section called the family you choose. And unlike our families at home, we choose this fire family.
Yeah.
We may not choose the exact crew that we're with, but we chose to be in the fire service. We knew we were going to have a crew. We knew we were going to spend a third of our lives at the firehouse. And this is what we chose to do.
Yeah.
So we chose this. We didn't get to choose our family at home.
And being family is when it matters the most about the brotherhood. That's the only person in your family that you've chosen.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the fire family, we don't choose these, but we have to choose each person to bring into the brotherhood.
Yeah.
So we've got to make those decisions. You got to be almost tighter than your family does
Yeah.
for the most part, because, we didn't choose to be together. The fire culture chose us.
Yeah. And we can't just be, if you have a bad crew, if you have guys you're not vibing with, you can choose to do something about it and create that brotherhood and create that buy-in, or you can be miserable for 24 hours.
Yeah.
And I can tell you from experience, being miserable for 24 hours every third day for years is
Mhm.
awful. It'll make you hate the job.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see that for sure. You know, a lot in my front end of my career was things that it just, I don't want to say it was awful, but it wasn't as enjoyable as what my career is right now.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is based on the people that you're around.
And I think backtracking a little bit, all this starts at one place and one place only, and that's going to be your kitchen table.
Yeah.
As a crew, that's one of the biggest decisions we can make for culture and for our brotherhood
Mhm.
is whether we let that kitchen table be somewhere that a meal is just served and then we go on about our day, or we make it a place of brotherhood, a safe place, a place of comfort, a place that we can talk to each other. We can talk shit. We can run ideas. We can
Yeah.
make fun of each other. That firehouse table has and always will be the most important place for a firehouse's culture.
I got a list here that kind of ties into that. Some things that brotherhood is not.
Okay.
It's not never criticizing each other. It's not covering up mistakes for somebody
Okay.
else. It's not, let's see, protecting incompetence, gossiping.
Protecting incompetence is a big one. I've seen a lot of lieutenants, captains, sergeants, whatever the officers are at your departments, try to protect their people, which I do believe an officer.
Mhm.
You as my officer should have my best interest at mind when
Yeah.
we're in public.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't protect my incompetence. If I make a a true mistake, and I can look at you and be like, "Hey, dude, I messed that up. That's on me. I've already went and worked on it or
Mhm,
read about it, and it'll never happen again." Then that's where you step in. Hey, I'm going to take the heat for him this time. But
mhm.
when you have somebody that's incompetent over and over and over again, you can't just sit there and let them fly by like that.
Yeah, yeah. Now the ownership is awesome from the officer leadership style standpoint, but there is a certain level of accountability that has to be passed. You can take ownership a lot, but
Yeah,
that doesn't mean that accountability can't be given down to those people that are making those
absolutely.
mistakes. So yeah, it's definitely a balancing act. So with gossiping, the us versus them mentality with the admins, complaining together, just hanging out on your off days, and seniority alone. So all of those individually is not just what the
Yeah.
brotherhood like complaining or criticizing to each other. Yes, we can do that, but that can't be what we only
It
do,
creates
and
toxic brotherhood.
it does.
And I can honestly say, me and you have hung out outside of work several times.
Mhm.
I don't think we've ever sat here and had a complaining session.
Yeah, yeah, we're not
Typically,
doing
it's
just
hey,
bitch sessions.
hey, I realize this problem.
Mhm.
What do you think we can do to fix it? That's
Yeah,
how our conversations go, and I think that's why we have such a good culture at the station we're at, because we don't just sit around and complain about problems.
yeah. I see a lot of people we were talking about this, before we started recording, but, like, this morning, we got up to go to work out, and there was something that started frustrating you, and you caught yourself. You
Yep,
said, "You know what? That was pissing me off, and I got really close to doing this." That was really mature of
yep,
you. It's really strong, but a lot of times people jump into that. And what the brotherhood needs to understand, or brotherhood in this concept, is I need to be able to call you out.
yeah, oh yeah,
A lot of people don't have that comfortability calling people out because they're concerned about our relationship
and the reaction they're
and the
gonna get.
reaction that
Yep,
happens. If they keep getting concerned about that, then we're not getting better. We're
yeah,
not growing. Like, I'm not here calling you out because I don't like you,
yeah,
because you know better than
yeah,
that. But people get concerned about that. Like, if they don't like me, maybe they won't listen to me. You got to separate those two.
yeah.
That's not part of it,
Oh,
you know?
100%. I mean, it was like I got called out yesterday by LT because when Chief came by, I had my freaking Crocs on in the station. He wasn't calling me out to be mean. He was calling me out so that next time Chief comes by, I look better in front of Chief. Not because it has anything to do with being rude, but because I need to be in a presentable state
Mhm.
when the Chief comes by. And that was, I take full responsibility for that.
Mhm.
He's got a great point. I didn't take it as personal. I didn't take it as rude or ignorant. I took it as he has my best interest in mind. He's
Mhm.
looking out for me. He realized the problem and he's going to make sure I know that problem.
Yep. You were talking about presence, like that was the concept at the kitchen table. Like, it's not measured at structure fires. A lot of the times we use structure fires. What they do is they reveal when the brotherhood is bad.
What we've built at the station.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's what we've built at the station.
Yeah.
So fires become that, okay, we're gonna show the face now. We're gonna show what's going on bad, because usually there's a lot of people out there that can hide their culture and the brotherhood
Until shit hits the
until
fan.
shit hits the fan. When
Yeah.
when that hits the fan, then it's gonna start showing itself. So we gotta know that building that, so that camaraderie, or that when the next fire happens, things happen better.
Absolutely.
That kitchen table, training, like any kind of service that we're doing, like things are going bad in your life, and you need to talk about it.
Yeah.
That's when I've got to show up.
Yeah.
Those are the times that it builds that culture, builds that brotherhood, it builds that understanding that, we're there for each other.
And guys, I think it is very important to be friends with the guys and gals at your station, hang out outside of work, talk
Mhm.
outside of work. But you can have a brotherhood at the station and you may not ever get on the same page as some of these people outside the station, whether it be different schedules. You may live in different places.
Yeah.
I know we've got at our station guys at the farthest point 4 hours from each other.
Yeah.
So a lot of that's never going to work out, but it doesn't seem to hurt our brotherhood at the station because we're so heavily focused on it.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be required, but at the same time, it needs to be talked about. Because another thing I would say, like in the brotherhood, if you're at the station, you don't necessarily have to work out together. You don't necessarily have to eat together.
Yeah.
But when we're making those decisions to do those things, we're building that brotherhood. So when we have that ability, when we're at work, and you know what, I'm not going to work out today. I'll work out later. You're choosing you're choosing to separate yourself a little bit. I'm not saying you have to do it all the time,
Yeah.
but if your tendencies, the people will start seeing what your tendencies are,
Yeah.
and that's what they're going to start understanding. Okay, this guy's probably not going to join
We're
us.
still going to ask him, but
Yeah,
he's not going to be there.
yeah,
You don't want to be that guy.
no,
You don't. Because if we create a good brotherhood and a good culture, we're never going to give up on somebody or give up on a crew or a certain individual. But at the end of the day, there's only so much that we can do.
Yeah.
We can keep asking, but if the answer is no every time, we're not gonna shun you, we're not gonna hate you, but
That's where the hard conversations have to come
yeah,
in, though. Like, we can have the nice generalized conversations, and it leads to no's. That's where senior guys or the officers, depending on who it is, or maybe not, but maybe that's when the hard conversations have to happen of, "Hey, can we come in here for a second? We noticed that, like, you're not joining us. You're not doing these
yeah,
things.
what's going on?
What's going on? Why? What can we do to make this better? What can we do to or something you'd rather do that we can join you in? Because it's not always about just what we
We
wanna
wanna do.
do." And those hard conversations, because they're uncomfortable, people will then, "You know what? We're just going to avoid that." And then we've become the clique that's now excluding
Yeah,
people.
we'll just keep doing our own thing because
Yeah,
it's fun and comfortable.
yeah,
And I think one of the most uncomfortable and hardest conversations, and I think the fire service as a whole is terrified to have this conversation with somebody, is, "Hey, maybe this career path isn't for you." And that's okay.
yeah,
There's no shame in trying out the fire service and saying, "Hey, like, this isn't the type I don't want brotherhood. I don't want culture. I just want a job I could show up, do my work for a certain amount of hours, go home and never think about it." And that's like, okay, there's millions of other careers
yeah,
that we need people to do. Like we brought up, you need people that work the power lines. You need people that work at the water authority. We need police officers. We need a lot of positions that aren't the fire service.
yeah.
But I think as a fire service, we've gotten scared of having that conversation with people that are outwardly showing that I want no part in this. I want to collect a paycheck and go home.
It's really tough. It would be really tough on, say, people of the higher ups to look at that and say, "Okay, I want you to self-reflect, and this might not be for you," because from the higher ups concept, that's a position they now have to fill again. Like
It is.
that hurts the department in a way. But again, we've got to look at some grander things that, like, that's hurting the department keeping them here. And the
It is.
truth of the matter is, if we can't have the discussions at this firehouse that's starting to reveal the brotherhood and where it lacks, the fire will prove it. And that's not the place we need to learn whether or not
No,
they're in the brotherhood or not. Or
absolutely.
that's not the place that they need to realize this job's not for us.
Not.
That's a terrible place to be.
We have got to be when those bells drop, we've got to be on our A game. That's
Yes.
not where we'll figure out how close we are, how well we work. That all needs to be figured out at the firehouse.
Right.
That's all part of your brotherhood.
Mm.
It's not just the friendliness part and having each other's backs and
Yeah.
being there for each other. It's also like we got to learn how to work together on a scene.
Yeah.
We got to learn to be efficient together. We need to learn to hop on a scene and not have to say words to each other because we all know what's going on and what the other person is going to
Yeah.
do. That's part of the brotherhood.
Yeah. I got a couple questions in here. Would you say that your crew would say that you're easy to trust?
I haven't been at this crew long enough to say that with full confidence. I know it takes me a while to trust somebody. Like, I don't know if somebody walked in today and if in 6 months, no matter what they did, I would fully trust them.
Mm-hmm.
I like to see all sides and see how they progress. I would like to say my crew would trust me. I
Yeah.
just don't know if they all know me well enough to have that full 100% waiver trust. But that's something I'm actively working on building and actively trying to
Well, you said
instill.
you don't normally trust easy.
I don't.
I would say I lean a little bit more to trusting a little easier than most because the benefit of the doubt's a factor for me.
It is
I want to give somebody the benefit of the doubt that they have good intentions,
100%.
which allows me to be able to trust you until you've proven to me I can't.
Otherwise, yeah.
So, so it's an interesting concept. I mean, I get it. Like, they definitely have to, but what do you do in the interim? Because how long does that take? How long
I
does
mean,
trusting
that's a very good point that I think I might need to reflect on.
Yeah,
I don't think there's a certain timeline or a point on it.
yeah,
Like, I think I trust a lot of people, and it takes a little bit longer than some people would.
yeah.
But it's just because I want to make sure who I'm trusting is who I think they are.
Hmm.
Uh,
It'd be interesting because I hear what you're saying. I think what you're maybe the line that you're looking at is it's hard to trust fully. You trust them, but you're on guard for their decisions because you haven't seen all their decisions and how they make them.
that's probably a better way.
Yeah.
I think around the firehouse, I trust all the guys.
Right.
Around the firehouse, those are my brothers. I
Mhm.
trust you guys with anything. Uh, but when we've had a low frequency of high acuity calls,
Yeah.
so it's not that I lack trust. It's just I haven't seen.
Hmm.
So that's something I've just got to see it.
Right.
But yeah, at the firehouse, I mean, 100% I trust my guys.
Yeah.
100%.
Let's see what we got here.
But Brotherhood also isn't built overnight.
It's not.
I've
And
still got a lot of buy-in left with you guys. I've only been here a few months. Like, I'm still actively trying to be a part of y'all's Brotherhood
yeah,
and fit in and contribute to it. And it's not something that just pops up overnight. I've just got to keep working at it. We've all got to keep working at it to create exactly what we want.
and kind of going back to what we said earlier is that brotherhood is built at the kitchen table, at the station, in the four walls of the firehouse, but there's still proof that needs to happen to get full trust when decisions are made, when lives are on the line,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of character that doesn't come out until you're under stress.
Yeah, 100%.
And sometimes we just have to wait and see that.
But the
So
good news is if we create that Brotherhood at the station, if we do have a lapse or an error that occurs and something happens, like, we can all go back to the house and talk about it. We have that Brotherhood at the station
yeah,
that if we, God forbid, fail on a scene,
yeah,
that we can come back and we can all sit down and critique each other and critique what we've done personally
hmm,
and figure out a solution to make sure it never happens again.
yeah,
And I think we'd be very good at doing our own critiques like that if we did have some kind of failure on a scene.
yeah.
What else you got?
The last one I think you're kind of hitting on. When someone is struggling, do you think you notice?
I think I noticed to the best of my ability. I think some people are very good and very intentional about making sure nobody notices, but I do catch myself actively in the crew reading into things people are doing just to try to make sure,
Yeah,
oh, maybe he just didn't get enough sleep last night, or maybe his wife left him.
yeah,
Like, I do try to actively
mhm,
read into people every day at shift, kind of doing a little check-ins
yeah,
and try to figure out what everybody's going through, what everybody needs. I mean, we've had a bunch of stuff just since I've been there at the house weigh on a bunch of people.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot of things that I would say I have a good ability to recognize when someone's off compared to what
Yeah.
they normally are. My wife would say like I can read somebody
Yeah.
really well. So, it's a good thing to have. The second thing is a lot of people I think might notice, but I don't know if they don't care enough or they just don't realize an action needs to follow that.
I think a lot of people are just scared.
I've heard a lot of people talk about, you got to leave all your stuff at the door.
Yeah.
Like, don't bring it to work, leave it at the door, and pick it up when you leave.
We're humans.
But we're humans. We can't stop
Yeah.
thinking about something that's on our mind.
So if you get to that point that you can have a switch in your head that when you walk in the door, it can shut one way, and when you walk out, it shuts the other way, you're in a dangerous place.
Yeah.
You're playing a really dangerous game there.
Exactly. So I don't agree with that line, and I think in this, most people wanna hide the fact something bad's happening, but we have to be better at realizing and allowing and building the atmosphere that it's okay to talk about it.
100%.
Bring it out. Tell us, "Hey, yeah, I got into a fight with, my family member or my wife or
Yep.
whoever it may be. I got into a fight. I just need some time.
Yep.
Everything's good. I'm a little hot today," you know?
But it's cool. Holler at me if you need anything. And now I also know, because we talk a bunch of crap at the fire each other. Hey, I'm not gonna be on his ass today. I'm not gonna
Right.
pick on him as much.
It
He's already having a bad day.
it changes it. It then spreads, like, for us with a large crew, and now guess what? Everyone's like, "Hey, chill out."
Yeah.
Like, you don't even have to know the information. Just,
No.
"Hey, don't."
Hey, yeah, cool off on him today. We'll pick on him next shift.
Yeah. And again, that's that transparency.
Yeah.
That's that because the other side of that coin is if I didn't tell somebody what was going on with me that day, y'all are gonna think it's y'all. Be like, "He's pissed at us. What did I do?"
100%.
Now everyone's freaking out. Oh God, something's gonna happen. We're in trouble. Whatever it is, it changes the atmosphere. People don't realize that you walk in with the mood that you have, and it'll change the atmosphere of a room. And
Yeah.
if you're not cueing into that, you need to
Yeah.
for sure.
We got to be able to talk to each other
Yeah,
about our problems, but as a crew, like you were saying, we got to be better at approaching our crew members and being, hey man, everything good?
yeah,
Anything I can help you with today? Maybe they got a brand new newborn at home and got 0 hours of sleep,
yeah.
and they just showed up to work after not sleeping for 2 days. All right, man, hey, go hit the bunk. Go hit the bunk. We'll get the truck checks done.
It's simple.
Come meet up with us in the afternoon.
Again, it's as long as you're not taking advantage of it, as
Yep.
long as you're not doing that consistently,
Yep.
it's not a problem.
No.
It's understood. Now, again, you got to communicate that with your officer to the best of the ability because just like anything else, they've got expectations for the day too. But I promise you, they'll want you in your best form, and if they can do anything to make that happen, they will.
Yeah, ideally, when those bells ring, we want to be 100%.
Yeah.
And a good officer will make sure his guys, if it's in his control, are 100%
Yeah.
when we show up to those calls.
Yeah.
Let's hit a little bit about our families at home when it comes to the Brotherhood.
Okay.
Like, we've hit a lot about giving 100% when we're at the station, pouring into the Brotherhood,
Mhm.
but I feel like sometimes we go into the station, we do all that, and then when we get home, we fail.
Okay. Where are we
We
failing
we
at?
fail as husbands, we fail as fathers, friends, family members, because we've just spent 24 hours pouring into this brotherhood, this group,
Mhm.
that we're almost out of gas when we get home. And it's not everybody. A lot of people are good at balancing both, but there is a chronic problem
Mhm.
with marriages, fatherhood, and the fire service that I think we can address through brotherhood.
Yeah, I think people have to put boundaries on things. People have to put sometimes if you feel like you're not pouring in as much at home, it's more important to pour in at home.
It is 100%.
So if you catch yourself doing stuff like that, you've got to start putting boundaries on what you're allowing your days to look like at work.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean pull all the way back.
No.
It doesn't mean you're not doing stuff for everybody at the station or going into the normal. But those are usually the people that are, yes, I'll do anything you ask as soon as you ask.
Yeah.
But that's exhausting. I mean,
It is.
it truly is. Eventually, those are the people that need to learn how to say no.
Yeah.
Saying no is not something that's usually taught because we want to be the problem solvers. We want to be doing it
We
immediately.
want to be hardcore.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to be soft.
We want to be viewed as, especially our crew, like we want to be viewed as the people that want to do all the work the best, and then we're wanting to ask for more.
Yeah.
Like it's a great way to be, but there's also a limit to that.
You still got to be present at home.
Yeah, still got to be present at home.
Like, when you're at the station, be all in at the station, but when you're at home, be all in.
Yeah,
And if you got to sacrifice a little each way, your guys will understand.
yeah,
Something as simple as, let's say, some nights we stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning drinking coffee and talking crap. We didn't run any calls. We're just staying up.
yeah.
You got something important with your kid or your wife in the morning, dude. Nobody's gonna dog you for going to bed at 9 o'clock. Like, hey, I got a big day with my wife. I want to make sure I'm there for her.
Yeah, well, the other side of that is some people don't know how not to dog you when those things are happening.
No, yeah, but
Yeah.
it comes out of love.
Yeah.
You have a good brotherhood at your station, even when they dog you, it comes out of love.
Yeah, there's a level of ball busting, and people get concerned that, oh my gosh, these guys, they're going to think of me less if I do this. But again, that's a boundary, and that's somebody that maybe doesn't have the self-worth that they should
Yeah.
because they're looking at making sure everyone else is happy around them besides themselves. And it's got to be something that's talked about.
Huh? I mean, we got a guy at our station with 4 kids.
Yeah.
If he wants to go to bed at 7:30 because he got a long day with his kids, I'd love to stay up and hang out with him.
How to make
Hey,
them
man,
go to bed.
go to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How to make them go to
Yeah.
bed.
Go be present on your off days and be well rested. But another thing we could do is we build this brotherhood here on this island, and we build our family over here on this island. There's nothing saying that we can't intertwine those two islands. Bring your wife and kids to the station.
Yeah.
Bring your guys from the station to your house for a cookout.
Yeah.
Invite them to your kids' birthday parties. Let your kids hang out. We can intertwine those, and it'll create something great.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah, I mean, for a long time early in my career, that was, I wasn't married for the first half of my career, so my family life was minimal, but it was always great to have family there. And,
Yeah.
and even now, like that happens more. I wish it happened more because it does. It then connects the two to where it doesn't feel as uncomfortable, or there's not a separate mindset
No.
that has to happen. Like you come home and you talk about the things that were going on at the station because everyone's clued in.
Yeah.
It's now not okay, I need to call one of the guys and vent. No, I can talk to my wife
Yeah.
about it.
My
She
wife knows all
understands.
this. She knows these people. She knows how they act.
Yeah.
That's been a big thing for my wife. Like, she's enjoyed me being at this station way more than my old department because she never went down there. She never got to meet anybody.
Yeah.
Here she comes by the station, everybody knows her by name. So when
Yeah.
I go home and this happened, this
Mm.
person said this, but she's locked in. She knows everybody knows her. She knows how they are.
Yeah.
It's cool to kind of have your family intertwined with your brotherhood,
Absolutely.
and it can create something great. And then the wives become friends, which is always helpful.
It is helpful.
The kids have people to hang out with.
Yeah. Everyone's wrangling kids at the station. Gives the moms a break for a time.
Our holidays were nuts last year with all the kids everybody has. All right, so what is the cost of brotherhood? What do we sacrifice to create brotherhood?
Effort.
Effort,
That's what it costs. It costs effort.
Yeah.
It costs
being uncomfortable.
yeah, being uncomfortable for sure. It makes people have to care a little bit.
It does.
Our job puts up barriers around people because caring isn't cool.
Yeah.
and you've got to care a little bit, especially for the people around you, to make a brotherhood work.
I think people are scared if they start caring about the people around them, that's going to end up messing them up on calls because they can't get out of their emotions. And that's not true.
Yeah.
You learn how to be able to care for the people around you and then still be in job mode when you go to these calls.
Yeah. A lot of people are scared of emotions in general.
That is true, especially men.
Yeah.
We are very terrified of
Mhm.
our emotions.
Mhm.
But yeah, we miss a lot of stuff for it. We got to put in effort. We lose sleep.
Yeah.
There's going to be uncomfortable conversations. There's going to be arguments. There's going to be fights. So the whole thing of creating brotherhood, I feel like, is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's not our human nature to go in there and be uncomfortable and have the hard conversations like we need to do to create a brotherhood that impacts Firehouse culture.
Yeah. I think with a lot of people, a lot of firefighters is we are fixers of conflict,
Yeah.
but we're also able to recognize when conflict's going to happen.
Yeah.
So instead of going in and fixing the conflict as it happens, we avoid more often than not.
I think that's easier.
It's way easier for most
Yeah.
people, and it's not the right aspect.
So that's another thing when we talk about family that translates. We get in the habit of doing that at work. What are we going to do when we get home?
Yeah.
Just avoid the conflict.
Yep.
I'm not going to have this discussion with my husband, with my wife,
Mhm.
with my mother-in-law.
Yeah.
That's not the way we as men need to be doing things. We need to take on conflict,
Mhm.
understand it's going to be uncomfortable,
Yeah.
and figure it out. That's our job. What has been the hardest sacrifice you've made for this job?
I mean, 18 years, there's been a lot of holidays. There's been a lot of, time away. There's a lot of money spent. I mean, it has to be just more effort. For the longest time when I was early in my career, I'd always had to work a part-time job and wasn't I mean, it was a decent while ago, but I decided with my wife, like I was going to put the all-in effort into building the department the way that I felt like I could help, but it required me to kind of give up on working a part-time job. Like again, not all of that was directly correlated with that, but a big part of it was an interference of my off day time
Yeah.
where like I wanted my time to be available to making, you know, my department and other things better, but there was never a guarantee in certain things. Like, so, I mean, at that point in time, it was a financial burden. It was, I hope this is here. I think we can do it. I
Because we're
think
taking a risk.
we're taking that risk. That was probably the biggest for me.
Yeah. I would say the biggest sacrifice for me is just time.
Yeah.
Time away from family, time away from home,
Hmm.
missing things, having those. Like this week, I've got a busy week. My 2 off days, I'm out of the house for 10 hours.
Yeah.
I get 2 off days this week and I don't get home till 6 o'clock either day. So it's definitely time. But if you have that brotherhood and that culture at the firehouse,
Yeah.
it makes it worth it.
Yeah.
Makes it worth having to go to work to a place that you feel like you belong and that you love and that you have brothers and sisters there that
Mhm.
support you no matter what. And then you still get to come home after that to your loving families. Now, if we had to give a crash course on how to build brotherhood,
Say that one more time. Sorry, I got a text message in the middle of that.
a crash course on building brotherhood,
A crash course on
what do you think would be the first couple steps of building brotherhood?
You know what? If you can look at like golden rule concepts and you live your life by something, I want to treat people as I'd want to be treated,
Yeah.
you're going to get going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Because the truth of the matter is nobody wants to be treated crappy. You would want somebody to help you, them.
Yeah. Just be a decent human.
Yeah.
I think a big one is communication. Just communicate.
Yeah.
Be a decent human being and communicate, and
Mhm.
things will start to fall in place.
Yeah. Be honest. Honesty. I think Chief said this the other day is the concept of honesty is the best policy.
Yeah.
That's wrong. That's not the case. Honesty is the only policy. If you're afraid to tell the truth, there's a problem. You need to tell the truth, and then we need to get past it because as you start developing that ability to tell that truth, it becomes easier.
Yeah.
And then everything falls into place better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we fear if we aren't immediately jumping into telling the truth, like spouse or fire station or whatever the case may be. If we're not immediately going that direction, that means we fear what's going to happen if we don't. So start off just by telling the truth.
So we basically narrowed down building a culture to 4 steps.
Yeah.
Don't be a piece of shit. Tell the truth, communicate,
Mm-hmm.
and have an open mind.
Yeah.
If you do those 4 things, there's no reason why you can't build the best brotherhood at your firehouse.
Yeah.
But it really comes down to those 4 things we just came up with and discussed in 30 seconds. If
Yep.
you're lacking one of those, your brotherhood is going to lack.
Yeah, you're gonna lack it. Again, self-reflect, guys. Like those things that we're talking about, like look inward first before you look outward, because people get into tendencies. People start getting pissed off at each other. Well, I'm not doing that because they haven't done that. Or
Yeah.
and if you're looking outward, it's going to be way harder to get started because you're gonna
Be critiquing everybody else.
you're gonna critique everybody else. I need to expect somebody else to do this before I will. No one's gonna get started. Just be the person to get started.
Yeah. Be the person to get started, and people will follow in line.
Yeah. Yeah. This is delicious, by the way.
So remember, guys, open mind, honesty, communication, and don't be a piece of shit.
Yeah. Be a decent person.
You want to know how to build brotherhood at a firehouse? Those are your 4 steps.
Mm-hmm.
If you lose one of them, you may as well lose all of them.
That's right. That's right.
So keep it simple. Have those 4 things.
Mm.
If you realize you don't have one of those 4 things, talk to somebody about it.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I realized I haven't been real honest lately. What do you think I can improve on to improve my honesty?
Mhm.
What have I not been honest about? Talk to somebody. Self-reflect. Figure out one of those 4 things, and I can assure you, if everybody gets on the same page with those 4 things, your brotherhood will not be lacking.
Yeah. And another really good
We should
good yeah, right. Another really good concept too is people want to surround themselves with their friends.
Yeah.
Friends usually tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah.
And you need to avoid that. You need to have somebody that's willing to be honest with you. So when you mess up and you look for somebody to tell you that you didn't mess up, that's not the person that you need around you to build you up and
No.
build that culture.
make you any better.
No, they're not going to make you any better. They're going to tell you what you want to hear.
There's a difference between friendship and brotherhood.
Yeah.
But if you really want to relate the fire service to your whole life, all of your friends outside of work should be your brothers. Like, it should be the same way.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have friends outside of work that are not going to tell you the truth, that are going to go easy on you.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's not really a friend.
Yeah.
A friend cares about somebody.
My best friend my entire life, we consider each other brothers. Right now he eats donuts, so he works for the sheriff's office. But
Crayon eater.
Yeah. But he's actually about to go into the reserves when he comes back. I have a feeling he's going to come back to the fire department.
I was about to say, you've been a terrible friend so far because you haven't been honest with him that he didn't need to be a cop.
That's the thing is, I am the honest one. I told him that. He just had to realize on his own what it was. But that's the relationship him and I have had. Our entire relationship, and why it's grown and done all that, is because there was no punches I didn't pull anytime he was doing something dumb, anytime I was doing something dumb. Yes, there might have been certain ways we got to talk about it so we're not making the person feel, itty bitty or stupid, but that doesn't mean you avoid telling them the truth. Some people just don't know how to talk about it,
so they don't.
Or they tell them what they want to hear.
We see a conflict and we avoid it.
Yeah.
Instead of attacking the conflict and figuring out how to solve it.
That's right. Well, sweet.
Anything else you want to add? I think that was a pretty good conversation.
That was really good. I liked it. Guys, any questions, any comments on social, hit us up. Check out our merch.
Yeah. I know the page has been a little dull this past week. I had a family emergency and I've been running all the social media.
Yeah.
So it's been a little slow this week. We're about to pick it right back up. We've got some good content. We got some GoPros. We got some Meta glasses.
Meta glasses. I got a drone.
We got a drone.
We're going to get some cool footage.
Yeah.
We're going to do some fun stuff.
We're going to be picking it up the rest of the summer. I promise, guys.
Yeah.
Took a couple days off. We had some stuff going on, but we are right back at it. This episode is going to be released on Friday at 6 p.m. as usual. And we will keep rolling out, hopefully without missing another week, although we can't promise that. We do have stuff going on. Yep. We're going to try to keep rolling out content for you guys every single Friday.
Absolutely.
Like Gene was saying, if you have any questions, any comments, any ways of doing things that may be better than what we suggested, send us a message. We are students of the game. We want to learn. And any of the questions, we're going to get together here the next 2 or 3 weeks on a Friday or a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to sip some bourbon. We're going to talk about questions, whether it be on live or whether it be on the podcast, and just have a good old time. We may do live. That way y'all can ask questions as we go through. That'd be pretty sick.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you guys joining us. Another episode of the Preach Culture Podcast. We're super excited with how it's going. And thank you guys for everything, man.
Yep. Keep making the culture better.
Deuces.
See y'all.